Felix going to start out serving. First two sets against Dominic Thiem were very good from Felix. Thiem was a little off, but he made him pay. But you can see his shirt, they're just waving a little bit in the breeze. I think that detracts from his shot making. We had this discussion, didn't we, just before we came on air, as to perhaps one of the reasons why he hasn't done as well on a consistent basis outdoors versus indoors, Mark. Just because he doesn't like to deal with the conditions.
Yes, and it's certainly changed from a few hours ago. The wind's picked up.
And of course, that's relatively speaking. When you have a look at his record indoors, it's unbelievable, right? Well, just about all the titles he's won have come indoors. Basel twice, Antwerp was indoors, Florence was indoors, Marseille, as well as Rotterdam, his first finals against Andrei Rublev. It's a testimony as to how good this guy is with the roof overhead.
Well, he's got half a roof over his head. I wonder if that's going to help.
It'll only help half as much.
First game.
Always nice to get that first one under your belt. And a couple of loose returns from Daniil. Promise you, as this match gets on its way, it's not going to be the case. He will put a lot of balls in play. He'll ask a lot of questions.
So the win predictor, 72% for Medvedev, and 28% for Auger-Aliassime.
Happy with that?
Look, I understand
it's a big chance for Felix, right? Given that he's never beaten him.
It is, but still, you know, still 70-something% is
in a two-horse race.
Yes. You normally take those numbers.
Half 15. On.
Let's try Wally again. Wally, good evening and welcome.
Sorry, Robbie, a couple of audio issues, but it all seems to have been smoothed out.
Yeah, nice to have you join us. A little bit of breeze courtside.
A little favouring Medvedev, but look, I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference, and it's a little bit fluky at times, like right now, still as.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mark, Wally, as to why you think the head-to-head is so one-sided. 6-0 in favour of Medvedev.
Well, they both play from the back of the court. I just think Medvedev's a little better, one shot better. Medvedev just settles into a rhythm. He probably won't miss for the next half hour, and Felix will give you the odd mistake. Not a lot separates the two men, but just that element of consistency. But I tell you what, I was blown away by the depth that Medvedev returned from in that first game. He's 2 metres behind the Melbourne sign. It's just unbelievable that nobody sort of volleys him. Well, I guess Novak did in the US Open final.
Yeah, Medvedev.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one today, Mark, to see how much Felix perhaps has watched that match and if he thinks he needs to do it or not, right?
I would imagine he would have watched that match, at least seen highlights, but I still don't think it will make a difference. He just does not serve volley. He's clearly not comfortable, and he's just happy to sit back and sit back on the baseline rally, I think, and it's one of the main reasons why you have that 6-love one-sided against Medvedev, head-to-head.
Here you go, Medvedev settling into the rally immediately after the first shot. But I saw a great quote once that said there's two kinds of pain. Pain that hurts and pain that alters. And if the pain of losing 6 times in a row against Medvedev doesn't alter his tactics, I don't know what will. At least fine-tune.
You know as well as anyone, Robbie, tennis players can be pretty stubborn at times. Very much wanting to stick to what they know best and what they're comfortable at. It's a very difficult thing to do something out of your comfort zone that you don't normally do. It's one thing in matches, it's another thing even if you don't even work on the practice court, then how are you going to do that in a match or a big point in a big match?
Look, we're not asking him to serve and volley on every point, every other point, like a Max Purcell, for example, but at least keep Daniil honest.
Guys, I'd love your thoughts. I believe that Auger-Aliassime's second serve is a weakness. He doesn't really have a kick. It's more of a slice, and he keeps going after it, and it doesn't feel that safe at times, especially with that ball toss where sometimes he can lose it.
Yeah, it's almost like low and forward, isn't it, Mark? It's a good side on angle here. See where he makes contact with this one.
That was a gift there from Medvedev. You know, okay, he won that. It's back to 30-all. But those rallies, he's not going to win a lot of those rallies, in my opinion. You know, he wasn't hurting him. They were in the middle of the court. He wasn't pressing him or moving him.
And it's amazing how easily Medvedev finds his backhand as well.
Seconds.
FAA, the back of a shoe. This is very unlike Medvedev to make this many basic unforced errors. How many we got there, Mark? Got our stats monitor a little closer to you.
5 so far.
All off the forehand.
And all off the forehand.
Guys, to me, Medvedev looks a little sleepy. I think he's just recovering from his 3:40 AM finish the other night. That first return game, he smoked one long, one halfway up the net. He hit the umpire in another return. Like, I'm telling you, he's just got out of his nightshirt for this match. He'll warm up in about half an hour.
This coach in the white, he's got the Chicago Bulls hat on, Gilles Savara, strength and conditioning trainer alongside Gilles. Eric Hernandez, of course, helps Daniil with that part of his game. Actually, Gilles Savara comes from a strength and conditioning background. Started to travel with Medvedev when he first arrived at the academy in the French Riviera. That's where he used to coach in the old days alongside Jean-René Lisnard. Now he's one-on-one with Medvedev.
Here.
Both guys still feeling out the ball and the conditions. But let me tell you, if Auger-Aliassime, you know, is having trouble holding serve with Medvedev hitting so many unforced errors, I don't know what's going to happen once Medvedev gets his eye in.
There you go, finally. He's only made 7 out of 16 first serves. He's not settled into any sort of rhythm yet. Here's one of those shots right there that I think is so effective when Daniil plays against Felix. That flat backhand strike to Felix's forehand. It really does rush him. Stays low. And as you mentioned, not always the cleanest strike off of the forehand mark, so puts that shot under immediate pressure.
Medvedev.
Into our 11th minute now. And in the second service game of the Canadian, he has his first sniff of a break point. And just like that, a little bit of patience provides the desired result for Medvedev, and he's got the early break to lead 2-1. So already early doors, plenty of work for FAA to do here. He's down a break.
Strange tennis, guys. It's has Daniil ever played a worse game to break than he just did there? Like, it's really just unusual errors by big margins.
Frederick Fontaine, bottom left, coach. It's Ayla Tomljanovic. You know what the connection is there, don't you, Mark?
I will know after you tell me.
Yeah, of course. Felix dates Ayla's cousin.
Ah, well, there you go. God, Robbie, you know all the gossip. Ah, there you go. It's just starting to warm up.
He loves a target, doesn't he? And it was actually a great shot by Felix, but the irony is, you hit it this hard, you don't have time to get to the net. It's on him, even though he's deep, and you can see Felix hasn't made the service line.
Yeah, of course. Felix actually been dating Ayla's cousin, Nina Gaiby, for a long time now. Seen Nina at a couple of events throughout the season.
What's a long time, Robbie? Because Auger-Aliassime, he's not, he's still pretty young himself. That's nice.
Very nice.
Yes, I mean, it really is an interesting game. He's got an incredible game. And the fact that, he returns from, I don't know, 6-7 meters behind the baseline and he's getting back and he loves the target, but just the way he goes about doing his business is actually a lot of fun to watch. And the shots he comes up with and the angles is just incredible.
It is very clever, and the manipulation of the racket on the ball is extraordinary.
Cheers.
But I sort of look at his return stance, Flip, and it absolutely amazes me. And I think of the Manarino serve, that people wouldn't adopt the sort of 165, 170 slider consistently. Just try to take him out of the court.
I remember I actually tried that. Here we go. Slow-mo of the serve. Steps up with the foot. Great extension to the serve. He's got a nice high ball toss, and look at the way he finishes with all his body weight towards his target. That was a great slow-mo of the serve there.
Yes.
I remember, I wanted to try. I was hitting balls last year, and I wanted to, a long time ago, and I wanted to, for fun, stand behind there for return. I think we'll play an exhibition doubles match, and,
yep.
And I just wanted to see what visually it looked like from back there, and I could not believe it. And I was even more impressed when I was just trying to stand back there to hit a shot. I just don't understand how he does it. And still be able to recover back into the point. I mean, that's something you don't teach. That's just a natural thing that he just obviously feels very comfortable doing, and no one else could do that but him, that's for sure.
So good. Disguise is brilliant.
When Daniil hits a backhand, sometimes I can actually read the Dunlop on the ball as it's travelling through the air. Very few rotations.
Yeah, it's one of the flatter backhands on too. He's also got decent separation in the hands.
It's a lot of separation, isn't it?
Yep. Felix has too, but not nearly as smooth of a backhand as what Daniil has. David Ferrez, the other guy, springs to mind.
He's got a pretty good backhand, that guy.
How many metres is this, seriously, from the baseline?
I think 3.5, around 4 metres to the Melbourne sign from the baseline. 3.5, 4 metres to the, is that right, Robbie? Somewhere around there?
What, 6? We're looking at 6 there? 6.5?
Oh, we'd have to be looking at least 7, wouldn't we?
We'll ask Wally to go and paste that out at the change of ends quickly, Wall.
30 long.
So that's a couple of great serves to serve through him to go directly down the middle. But you just wonder, we talk about Felix, he's a little right shoulder around left shoulder. If he gets a decent slider in, surely Medvedev can't get bat on ball.
You know,
30, 15.
Daniil returns, when he goes and does that split step, every time he does it, he actually takes one big step to the right-hand side.
Exactly. I was just watching that on that last point as well, Mark. He kind of shows you the wide serve, but then just before you hit it, he closes the door.
But, you know, bottom line, that's where Novak served in that final of the US Open. He went wide a lot, and he served volleyed wide a lot to that first court with great success.
No, you're right, Wally. Better service hold. But it's Medvedev with the early break that leads 3-2. Yeah, it was a funny old match at US Open final because Medvedev was so close to winning that second set. And, you know, there are a fair few people who thought, given that Djoko was feeling the heat, that had Daniil won the second set, it might have been a very different outcome. Djokovic wriggled out of it, and then once he was 2 sets to love up, it was always going to be tough for Daniil. But I remember an exchange between him and Gilles Savara. Gilles was fed up that he hadn't adjusted his position when returning, especially from the deuce side. I was in your position, Wally. I was the courtside commentator for that one, and I was just observing them, and he was fuming, and he's like, no, you must suffer now for the decision that you've made. It's on you. And of course, the flip side of the argument could have been, well, I was so close to winning and making it 1 set all.
Yeah, I agree with Flip. Daniil just has an uncanny knack of how to operate in that sort of real estate on a tennis court. It just seems so surprising, but his first step back into the court after he makes a return is awesome.
That was a great move from Felix there, jumping on top of that second serve. That's what he's going to have to do today, put that pressure on Daniil.
Wally, I've actually just remembered the set point that Medvedev had. I don't know if you remember. I think it was 5-6 on the Djokovic serve. He had the easy pass, right? The whole line was open. Djokovic fakes line and covered the cross court. And then next thing you know, Danny hits it straight to him and boom. Just remember that right now. That's how close Medvedev was to getting it to one set apiece. I mean, the margin in the sport.
But Robbie, wasn't that indicative of the way that Novak's managed his net game on that day? Like
yes.
He was superb. He did it perfectly. I actually rang Pat Rafter after the match. We both agreed it was a masterclass of net play.
Yeah. No. Absolutely, Wally. Right with you.
Oh. 30-all.
For me, Wally, I don't know if you remember that love 15 point. Felix missed an opportunity. He had a good return and he had a forehand like a meter inside the baseline. He hit it cross court and went backwards. That's a good hole. I'm just thinking that their opportunities that he needs to go forward to take. He cannot allow Daniil to get back into these rallies and start all over again.
But Mark, I think you said it at the top of the broadcast. There's an element of Felix's game that I'm looking at. You know, to get to the top and stay there. To stay there, you've got to improve. You've got to keep working on things. And I'm not seeing those subtleties. I'm not seeing better net play. I'm not seeing more shape on the second serve. You know, I'm not sure it's a tap he can just turn on, but he's got the confidence to come in and pick up what, you know, it's going to be a reasonably tough volley. You know, we were talking about this kid as being one of the next big things, but he's been overtaken by quite a few players.
Oh, there you go. Right on cue.
15 love.
That was a more difficult shot to come in on. And he came in the middle and he still won the point. No, but this is what you touched on, Robbie. If you've played someone 6 times and they're 6-0, you got to come out thinking, okay, well, I've got to do something different. You know, can't keep doing the same thing. They're all on hard court as well, which he loves playing on hard court, although indoors is his favorite. But you're thinking, okay, I've got to do something different. It's been 6-0 on hard court. What a rally.
I mean, Wally, you would have had a great view of the mesmerizing depth that Daniil is able to keep, right?
Beautiful rally. I mean, Felix is just striping the ball and he's upping the ante in that particular rally. But you just kind of get the feeling he's like a sponge, Daniil. He just soaks up that pace. He redirects. He waits for his opportunities, flattens out that backhand. It's almost like he's just waiting for the error. He's not stressed.
That's a great response from Felix. So going back what I was saying, thinking, okay, you don't expect the guy to come out and all of a sudden become a serve and volleyer, but focus on the serve, hold serve, and let's try something different on some return of serve games, where they might be taking the ball on the rise earlier or the second serve, now and again hitting one coming in, but you're definitely going to have to start doing something different in order to shake up the guy that you haven't beaten yet out of the last 6 times you've played him.
So that's the type of tennis you're talking about, Flip. Don't hesitate. If the ball's short, get on the front foot, move forward.
Yeah, and that was a great serve, my guy. Did you see where he made contact to return that?
Felix having to work pretty hard to hang on to his serve again. And he's playing catch-up. He's down a break in set number 1. It's probably a good idea to go back and have a look at that point where the depth was so good. And even from the very first serve, I mean, Medvedev's in so much trouble here. I mean, this could have been an easy volley. Look how many times and how many shots he has to hit. And look what he's up against. Look at the depth that Medvedev is able to maintain with his O's. I mean, everything is in the back quarter of the court. It's good length from Felix, but as Wally suggested, he's just like a sponge. No problem for Daniil. He just keeps putting it within a foot or so of the baseline. He's not quite running circles around his opponent, but he's certainly putting enough obstacles in his way.
It's great sitting here courtside watching Daniil, because you look at Felix and he produces the shot. From start to finish, the racket is on a plane and it stays on that plane. Daniil makes little adjustments on impact throughout the swing. Very, very subtle changes, very clever.
30 love.
I love how he takes a little bit of pace out of that forehand, and it's all about the spin control. Much further up the court, you've got less court to work with. You can't hit it as hard.
15. Medvedev leads by 5 games to 3.
See that strapping on the left knee of Felix. It's what's been so bothersome for him throughout the 2023 season. He's had a bit of platelet treatment in the area. He's missed that volley, but I mean, it was very much on his strings. It wasn't too difficult to overshot.
And the problem is, you miss a volley like that, right at the next point you have an opportunity after that forehand where I feel like you should have moved in, but you're not going to do that after you miss a volley like that. That's the issue. You're not putting yourself in that position regularly, or even, like I said, a bunch of times on the practice court so you can trust that shot.
I mean, even Alcaraz today, he came in a couple of times, missed a volley, but it was the right play, but he doesn't care.
No, he continues to go forward.
Bigger picture, he knows it's the right play. Knows it's the right thing to do.
Exactly right.
How did he find an angle there? My goodness.
Thank you.
Two set points.
Watching him, especially from up here in the commentator's booth, you have such a great angle of seeing the whole court and covering the court, and he puts so much pressure on his opponents and makes them go for closer and closer to the lines. And
what's that first serve percentage looking like, Mark?
First serve percentage is 60% right now.
Too many double faults, too many unforced errors for FAA. Set number 2.
Round 15.
Guys, I just sort of had a weird thought as I'm sitting down here watching. Felix, to me, he is really, really good until he's not. And Daniil just looks like artificial intelligence, like he's just programmed to put the ball in the right spot at the right time.
Look at that.
It's sublime.
I hear what you're saying, Wally. I mean, Felix can play some amazing tennis, and then he can just switch off and make some very ordinary unforced errors.
Because I'm watching him in some of these rallies, and he looks $1 million.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 6 foot long.
A little bug just creeping into that AI algorithm there on the forehand. Such a clever second serve. Felix steps up. Daniil goes faster and harder to the body. Low cutter. Once again, the forehand leaking a few errors for Medvedev. We saw it in the early stages of the first set, but didn't prove too bothersome. Now, it could prove costly. Let's see if he can make this one count. Chance to strike first in the second.
Yes.
209. That is the fastest serve of the match for Medvedev down break point. This one initially to me looked more out than in, but what? Outside edge. Wasn't the cleanest of forehands.
You know what they say, Robbie, 99% out is
100% in.
That's right.
I'll be calling that one out, Mark. Oh. Oh, he's missed it. A couple of basic errors. And Felix has finally got some traction in this match. And the Canadians are happy. Just hasn't quite got the groundies 100% calibrated. Not often you get a donation like that from Daniil on a break point.
Yeah, it's a great effort from Felix to get that first break in a second.
Yeah, and you can see what happens when he gets that early break. He goes on to win the set 79% of the time, so that constitutes a break. In the opening 4 games of a set, to average for the top 100 is about 76, so Felix just above that.
Let's listen.
I also start to infuse him with a bit of confidence. You can just solidify the break. Put a bit of daylight between him and Daniil in the set. So 2 games played in the second set. Both of them gone the way of the Canadian. Yeah, that's us, that's us. I don't know about you, Wally, but you made the comment that he looks a little sleepy in those opening couple of games. I look at Daniil and I still don't look at him and think, okay, he's woken up. even though he's a set to the good.
Couldn't agree more, Robbie. I think that first set flattered him. I think Felix just made a lot of errors and at inopportune moments, but I mean, some of the misses on return are pretty spectacular. He's not seeing the ball that well.
Medvedev. It's back 2-1.
The Canadian with the early break here in set 2. Energy chill. It's pretty popular. A little bit of glucose perhaps. Just keep those carbohydrates. Oh, you just wonder how much that late finish, 3:40 a.m. took you out of Medvedev after he beat Rusevori. Remember, he beat him from 2 sets to love down as well, so mentally that would have been a huge effort. Yes, he had yesterday to recover, but it does throw the body clock. Definitely affects your sleeping rhythm. Haven't seen the best from either player yet in the opening hour.
Robbie, and what's surprising at court level, it's not the errors, but it's the margin of some of the errors is really bizarre. Like that was halfway up the net. And it's not a miss hit, it's out of the middle of the racket. That's what's hard for me to fathom, given the quality that both these players have. See, that's another case in point. That landed below the Kia sign at the net. Just strange errors.
Yeah. I hear you all.
I mean, I'm all for making errors, but just by smaller margins.
Again, that's a sign of somebody who's just not comfortable at the net. This one, not really knowing what to do. Went for a short, must have been a short backhand or.
I can't understand why he's missing so many forehands. Here's Gilles. Wears the same cap for the entirety of a tournament. So the Bulls. Oh.
So once he picks his cap, that's it for the tournament?
Actually, you know what? Sometimes he does change between day and night session. So if he's playing night session, tends to stick to that cap. If it's day session, might have another one. Might.
Oh, wow. That was an impressive chip.
And I almost think it was accidental because the backhand cross-court was so good. It rushed him into hitting a slice.
He knifed it as well.
Yep. A lot better and harder than what he normally would have. I like the sneak. I think Daniil's got a little unlucky there.
That's a great serve. Big hold from Felix.
Auger-Aliassime leads by 3-1.
Freddie Fontaine. Felix is coach for a couple of years now.
Settle down.
Robbie, I just Googled circadian rhythms.
Yes.
Light and dark have the biggest influence on circadian rhythms, and I think our friend Daniil has woken up in the wrong sleep cycle. He is just not the player that we are accustomed to.
Now that was a beautiful piece of sports science analysis there. Thank you, Wally.
40-15.
How often do you hear about the sports scientists saying, most important thing for recovery? Sleep. Something you have to do well. I remember hearing stories about how much Pete Sampras used to enjoy sleeping. Big sleeper, and couldn't have any light. Would put a piece of tape over the red light on the TV, make sure there was no lights anywhere, pull the clock out of the wall, on the bedside clock. Pitch dark it needed to be. Maximize his sleep. See if Felix can try and maximize this lead that he has in the second set with an early break. What about you, Flip? Decent sleeper? Could you put in the hours, or did you not need a lot of sleep? What were you like?
You know what? I find that I mean, who doesn't like to sleep? But if I went over a certain amount of hours, I felt tired waking up.
Okay.
A little groggy.
And on a day like today, would you be the kind of player who would come early to the courts, have a hit, go back to your hotel room and have an afternoon nap and then come back for
night
evenings?
matches?
Yes.
Yes, but not for a 7 o'clock match. Like second after 7, I would do that.
Okay, but not first.
No, not first. Well, look, it all depends on
Time.
You could. I mean, I was someone that didn't mind getting out here a little earlier too. It's just nice and quiet as well. You know, it's easy to find the court, go in, you have something to eat, and you can head back. So, you know, night match, I would most of the time. Yes, actually. I wasn't the type of player that wanted to be at the courts hours and hours before I played my match, you know, because that could also drain you.
Absolutely.
Hanging around. That's good play. Nice serve out wide, and he was quick to jump onto this forehand. Nice reaction here, and he was looking to come in. I like that.
That's it. 15-14.
Once again, just tightening things up a little. Here's Medvedev. Immaculate length. And the feel that he has on this backhand is sublime. He's measured that to within an inch of the line. Well, that was a war of attrition.
17-14.
You can see the shots just accumulating there on the net strap. Quite central from Medvedev. He's doing all the running. The discipline from Medvedev is just unreal to observe.
He just locked in there, Robbie, and it was quite noticeable at the start of that game. He started grunting. Haven't really heard it throughout the course of this match, and there it was. Just more effort, more focus. It was almost like he determined that now is the time to break.
Neither player hitting their forehand particularly well, but Medvedev half a chance to direct it towards Felix's forehand. He was on it.
Out.
25-shot rally.
Third love. 30-15. Medvedev.
Order restored for Daniil. Felix was broken in the 3rd and 9th games of the opening set, so 2 breaks in that 6-3 scoreline if you weren't with us at the start of it.
Right now, Felix's first serve percentage of 28%. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, it's 61%. 102 serves 28, just getting my numbers wrong. But I was going to say those first 2 points are so incredibly important, especially after the last service game he's played. Makes a big difference with his +2, the way he can set up the point after that by being aggressive.
30-15.
It's a whole different ball game with that second serve.
Thank you.
It's a nice change-up from Felix there. I like the chip short cross court.
40-15.
And he made a move running around that back end. Had some really nice shape. For a second now, thought that forehand might have been going out, but that dipped in very quickly. Good to see Felix changing things up here and thinking. Well, you've got a great angle, that one. That, for me, even from this angle, seems very far forward, that ball toss for a second serve.
Yeah, you know, on the second serve, you've got to do all the work under the ball, don't you? Up and over, create that big arc, get the top spin. It's very much right shoulder around left ball toss, well out in front.
Okay.
Good response. And an important hold for Felix. 4-all.
4 games all.
Let's have a look at it again, Mark.
This is second serve.
First.
I mean, it's a nice high ball toss. It's got great knee bend. Look at the way he's jumping into that serve. Good racket head acceleration all the way through the body. It's a good-looking serve.
That ball toss looked better, though, than some of the other ones we've seen.
If that's his first serve, that's you know, it's a great ball toss.
I think there've been a couple where the ball toss has been almost a foot more in front of that one. Certainly a couple of inches. Good start.
Round 15.
Next couple of minutes will be interesting. See how solid Felix can be. See how fragile Medvedev might be.
15 on.
Or might not be.
That's the serve.
That's a great shot. Aggressive backhand down the line. Did not have a lot of space
15,000.
in that shot, but
And he sprayed a couple. So to come up trumps on such an important point,
Thank you.
that'll help the confidence.
Sergio.
Anna Tomljanovic sitting with her dad. Was her cousin Nina, been dating Felix since March of 2019. You asked how many years that is. It's a wee while now. What's it? Almost coming up for 5 years, Mark.
yeah.
Yeah, Medvedev.
A serve delivers down the stretch. That is a solid
Medvedev
hold.
wins by 5 games.
5-4 Medvedev. Very subdued atmosphere here in this Margaret Court Arena. Really waiting for this one to catch fire.
Time.
DJ's gone with some classic 80s. Of course, Wally's all over this, isn't he? I see you popping and weaving to this back in the day in your early days in Canberra. But the police. Okay, we're into sweaty palm territory now. Let's see how Auger-Aliassime coaches.
Round 15.
He looked totally disorientated. Not sure what happens here. Just got the spacing wrong.
Body going one way, racket going the other.
Yeah.
See him moving forward again, even after that missed volley.
15-all.
Showing some nice technique on that forehand volley. That's why I don't understand why he doesn't move forward more often. Great athlete, can cover the net well.
Must be a strange visual to attack Daniil, because there's no... Your depth perception must be a little out. There's no target whatsoever.
That's this one.
Improvisation from Medvedev. It's subtle brilliance, isn't it, Mark?
Just starting off by the chip, deep, mixing up the pace with a high forehand. And
I don't think he's hit those two shots. I can't remember him hitting those two shots the whole match.
And they're not, let alone both in the same point.
Correct.
It's AI, Robbie. The algorithm.
Rebooted, back online.
Equals 2 set points.
Let them twist it.
That's more the same, just rock solid from Daniil. Too many unforced errors and crucial stages for Felix, and it's Medvedev with the 2 sets to love lead now. But it's still 3 and 4.
Yeah, exactly. And if he does stay back, I mean, every single time he's having to start the point all over again. And if I had to put my money on someone to win those long rallies, it's Daniil every single time. Well, at least a very strong majority of them.
Yeah, and especially when it gets tight. I can tell you they've played 19 sets now, and Felix has only won 3.
Well, that was a good opportunity for him to have won 4.
Never beaten Daniil. 0-6.
Love. 13-15. T15.
Yes, please.
Medvedev.
Robbie, you may know this because you know everything about
First
tennis.
game,
How did Felix's development, did that actually happen in Canada? Was he a product of an academy in America, do you know?
No.
In his early days?
No. Montreal, the National Training Centre in Canada.
To me, when I watch these two play, Daniil seems like the type of player who, as a kid growing up, just played other people's sets and just figured out a way, in his idiosyncratic way, to win. Just devised shots, found ways, this very strange returning position, almost unique to him. And then I look at Felix, and it's almost like there was a coach hand-feeding balls, and he was just grooving his shots, grooving his shots, grooving his shots. Just two very starkly different contrasts in the way that they manufacture their shots. But Felix doesn't seem to accept the situation. He just continues on with the same grooved shot.
I worked with Guillaume Marx. You might remember Guillaume for many years and shared the responsibilities for a while with Freddie Fontaine, and then he went one-on-one with Guillaume. Of course, Louis Borfiga helped really oversee everything at the National Training Centre. Felix moved there when he was 14, Wally. Was Borfiga, former French Tennis Federation coach. Guillaume Marx did a lot of the initial work with Felix.
Love.
It's not a bad alternative to an approach when your opponent is that deep in the court. I'm not saying the execution is easy, but we haven't seen too much of that tonight.
T15. Let Pacific. Auger-Aliassime. One game all.
I'll be fascinated to see if this set unfolds any differently, whether it's more of the same, just trying to do plan A better, whether Felix can mix things up.
Fifteen love. Thirty love.
Just tail end of the second set, started to find his first serve, and it's bleeding over here into the third.
Medvedev.
He can do this. He can go on a run where he just starts to paint lines with the delivery.
Medvedev leads by 2 games to 1.
That's what he's done here to get a 2-1 lead. Just waiting with the forehand grip. You can see there. Used to be a ball could get up close and personal.
Time.
Men's singles third round action. It's day 7 of the 2024 Australian Open. It's the 55th Australian Open, and of course it's the 37th year that we are here at Melbourne Park. First played here in 1988. And how this tournament has grown and evolved. One of the biggest annual sporting events now, together with the other 3 majors on the tennis calendar. A record number of people through the turnstiles.
Round 15.
The crowd definitely want a contest here. Anytime Felix does something good, they're sort of up and about. They're really looking for him to get himself back into this match. But for me, we've got one man playing tennis and the other man just hitting tennis balls. Big difference.
Long 30.
it's so good. He was alert, he was ready. And once again, the tennis IQ kicks in just when he needed it.
Look at that, Robbie. He was behind the Melbourne sign before he started making his run for that drop shot.
Interesting in that slow-mo, you see Felix actually committed before he'd made contact. Given the ball was so low, you feel like he could have moved after the hit. Hard to hit with any pace from down there.
Oh, that's huge.
Give me love, give me love. Here's what Daniil is saying.
Medvedev leads by 3 games to 1.
I mean, are you not entertained by this forehand?
Looks like someone's starting to get their eye on. Oh, you know.
Yep. Interested to know as well how Felix's knee has held up this week after all it's been through. Discomfort. Last couple of months, it was in and out all the time. Had the platelet treatment. He's played a 5-set and a 4-setter this week so far.
Doesn't seem to have slowed down. Pushing a flow for the balls.
Yep.
Seeing him favouring any side or.
The only problem is, you might be all drugged up with some anti-inflammatory, so you don't feel it until afterwards, which of course is not ideal.
Yeah.
I had the same issues as Felix had when I was playing more. Quadricep tendonitis.
Oh, here, Robbie. I know a little something about knees as well.
I mean, you have an
Just like
injury, you become a surgeon, right?
Yeah, you definitely find out a lot about the knee and how it works and the joints and what to do to strengthen it. A lot of reading. More intent in this rally. Not going to come in, but he always comes in on the inside in forehand. It's not an ideal approach, but still he's got a half decent volley there. Just nowhere near the court. Oh, that's cheeky.
That's very naughty. But oh so nice for Daniil as he takes a 4-1 lead in this third. Yeah, just watch this one wipe its feet on the net on the way over. Whoosh, whoosh. course, not going to book a place in the 4th round, or these guys. Carlos Alcaraz, Miomir Kecmanovic, winners earlier today. Oh. Just after 9 o'clock local time, the sun is starting to set on the city of Melbourne. It certainly seems the case for Felix Auger-Aliassime that this time here might be also coming to an end unless they can pull off a Zenyatta-like finish. Because right now he must be at least 15 lengths behind the leader. And there's not a whole lot of track left.
Teamed up.
That's what you'd like to see. On the front foot, aggressive, taking the ball on the rise and looking to move in behind it. There's no holding back now. This is time to put it all out there.
Auger-Aliassime, new balls, please.
Still hanging about.
Medvedev leads by 4 games to 2.
I don't know what came over me there, but after he played that good volley point, I had an overwhelming desire for Felix to serve and volley just once. He did serve a second serve ace, which was pretty impressive, but I just thought maybe a moment of inspiration, something different.
And Mark and I can tell you now that the winner of this one will take on Nuno Borges of Portugal.
Who beat Dimitrov 7-6 in the 4th.
Given how well Grigor's been playing of late, that's a big upset.
Grigor did have set point in the tiebreak in the 4th and double faulted on set point. So amazing result for Borges.
40-15.
Watch Borges play a couple of good five-setters. I think he had two tight ones at the US Open a couple of years ago. One against Ben Shelton, I remember.
Yeah, Medvedev.
This guy can play long. Wasn't a five-setter this time around, but he's always up for the battle, as is Daniil Medvedev. He's just a game away from wrapping this one up in straights. Those look like the Banana Boys. Now, the province that I come from, Wally, we're known as the Banana Boys. Not sure who they support. Big banana growing region in KwaZulu-Natal. They're trying to compete with the Karata Boys.
Cain.
They're looking for that same sort of sponsorship marketing deal as the Karata Boys. They want to go to all 4 slams.
Now, I know Daniil does like to eat a few bananas on the change of answer. Just over 2 hours. These two have been battling away. And Felix is at the last chance saloon, serving to stay in the tournament.
Lifting up.
That means a pretty good defensive lob. Nicely done from back there from the Canadian.
Set it up. Force it out. Jannik Auger-Aliassime.
Get one more look at the Medvedev serve.
Medvedev leads by 5 games to 3.
All right, well, here we go. I think he's got a couple of plans. Either he digs his heel in and refuses to miss one ball, or he just says, you know what, I'm just going to be aggressive, step into it, take the ball on the rise, and swing away.
Serving for a place in the 4th round. Good start. Serve has been rock solid.
Such a smart serve.
He's only lost 4 points behind his serve.
I mean, again, Felix got the shot that I believe he wanted. Just hasn't been able to execute on that all night.
And forehand can leak errors, Mark.
I think he's shocked that one didn't go in. He missed by much.
Thank you.
Shane, he did all the hard work, and again it's that unforced error on the forehand side that lets him down.
So after just over 2 hours, Medvedev
Thank you.
has 2 match points.
Thank you.
Second match point. Medvedev seals the deal in straight sets.
6-3, 6-4, 6-3.
He's through to the round of 16 here for the 5th time and improves his record against Felix to 7-0. He has dominated the Canadian, and it's been more of the same here on the Margaret Court Arena. He wins in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, and 6-3.
Yeah, Robbie, I mean, very straightforward match from Daniil. You know, was it just a lot of unforced errors? Start off from both guys, but Daniil did find his rhythm at the end, and I would say enough to get the job done. But unfortunately, Felix, you know, a lot of unforced errors today, especially off the forehand side. It's 24 unforced errors off the forehand side for the match, and that's just 43 overall. That's just way too many.
Yeah, just look at that match, and the first word that springs to mind is vanilla. You know, I didn't see any disrupting going on. I didn't see any changing of the game plan, especially after losing the opening set for Felix, but plenty to ponder. It's a long season ahead, and fingers crossed that he can stay in good health. I hope that knee is not going to plague him like it did last season, and he can put together a string of weeks out here onto a string of months, I should say.
Yeah, you're right, Robbie. The most important thing for him is his health, and if he stays on track, that ranking will climb again. But this is a match that I believe he's got to look at closely and learn from.
Yeah, he's up against a guy with a genius tennis IQ, and he will test the outer limits of your game. And that's what he's done in the 23 sets they've played. He's only ever lost 3 to Felix. And I believe Jim Courier is courtside waiting to speak with Daniil.
Daniil, you know firsthand how difficult Felix can be to defeat. He had a match point against you here 2 years ago, and you won in 5 sets. straight sets tonight. How'd you pull this off?
Tough, especially after the last match I had, but happy to play some good level. I felt that it was tough for me to when I ran, so I tried to always give him a tough shot to not have to run too much, try to read the game, and finally, especially in the third set, managed to pull some good shots. So happy about my game and looking forward to what's next.
Well, for those who may not have been awake when you finished your round before, it finished very early. Nearly 4 o'clock was the time that you finished your last match. I want you to take us through what it's been like since then. What was the recovery like? What time did you get to sleep? How much sleep, etc.?
Yeah, as I say, look, not easy. I'm not feeling fresh now. I'm not feeling 100%, but we tried to make the best work possible with my team. Came back to the hotel, done the physio work, went to bed at 7. Woke up at 12, then had an easy day, and like I had a good sleep, night of sleep tonight. So at least I have this super ability. I can sleep where I want, whenever I want. Some players...
I think that's called narcolepsy.
Yeah. Some players, they tell me that sometimes after a tough match, they cannot sleep for like 2-3 hours. Yeah. They would not be possible to play because they would go to bed at 10. But yeah, at least I had some hours of sleep. You know, when I was very young, maybe till 21, I was going out, and it was not good. Was not good for my tennis. I was not playing as I'm playing now. But maybe some practices without sleep sometimes helped me play today, so let's hope it was like this.
This guy is just gold with a microphone. He's magic, not just with a racket. What's a normal night of sleep? How much would you typically like to get? You got 5 2 nights ago. What's a general night for you?
Usually, I think the best I love is to go to bed at 11 and wake up at like 9. So, yeah, I'm a good sleeper. But actually, guys, I see here, at least where I stay, at 8 the breakfast is empty, and at 10 it's full. So don't laugh too much. Don't laugh too much.
How do you pull that off at home? You and your wife have a beautiful little daughter. She's, what, a little over 1 year old now? How do you pull off sleep till 9 back home?
Well, that's a big problem. So it was just before I left one morning, we woke up early. We had to take someone to the airport, something like this. So someone was staying with the baby. Then we came back. It was like 6 in the morning. So my wife told me, look, I want to sleep. I'm going to go another room. Go sleep with our daughter. So I go there. At first, like first 30 minutes, I was a little bit like cautious and like sleeping, not sleeping. And then I wake up, 9, the daughter is not there. So my wife told me that she came at one moment, and Alyssa was like staying in the bed and like and I was just sleeping. So yeah, my wife does all the job at night.
And they're back in Europe now, right?
Yeah, they're back in Europe, yeah.
All right, well, you've got work to... First of all, before we get to your next match, on an energy level, if you know, 100% energy, where were you today coming into this match physically, would you estimate?
Honestly, today, like, I pushed myself to 100%, but I would think I was something like 80, which is good, but sometimes could not be enough if the match would be tougher. But now, what time is it? 9:30? 9:30, easy, yeah. So I'm going to be ready in 2 days for sure.
Okay, well, we know who your opponent is. It's going to be someone I don't believe you faced ever on tour, Nuno Borges from Portugal. Yeah, he beat Grigor Dimitrov. What do you know about Nuno?
To be honest, he just came on tour, kind of. I saw one time him play against Yibing Wu, that was 2 years ago, and then I played Yibing, who beat him in US Open, and I saw the first set today. He was playing well, so I didn't know him before. He was playing well, and to beat Grigor, who was on fire lately, is a big achievement, so I'm looking forward, and hopefully can show you guys my best level.
Daniil Medvedev, we love having you in this tournament. Great performance, great interview.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to be part of Team Daniil? He is such a great interview.
Yeah.
Not only does he have good tennis intellect, but you can just tell he's a smart guy. He's a funny guy.
He is. That was a great interview. Yeah. I love the one, you know, he's gone out when he was younger, so he was prepared. He was prepared for tonight's match with lack of sleep. I love that. That was classic.
Yeah, he is a classic, this guy. It wasn't a classic performance, it was good enough. And it's put a smile on his dial. The fact that he's got it done in straights always helps. Quickly the numbers, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, again, the big one for me is the unforced errors from Felix. 43 for the match, but 25 was on the forehand side. And yeah, Daniil maybe started a little slow, but again, just built as the match gone on and just did enough. Was just so incredibly intelligent with the way he changes pace and height of the ball and spin. And he was just, again, just too much of what he normally does. Too solid.
Yeah, so after the toughest match that he's had so far this week, coming back from 2 sets to love down against Emil Rusvori, he has the easiest match of his tournament thus far. Next up for him, it'll be the man from Portugal, Nuno Borges. Kazao and Hurkacz, Norrie safely through. And Kecmanovic and Alcaraz in the section of the draw will go at one another. So a nice early night for Daniil. It's an early night for myself and Mark Philippoussis, and that is always a good thing. For now, it's goodbye from Mark, Wally and myself, and I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Coco Vanderway and Nick Lester.